My husband Ethan despises his female boss. He claims she looks like a man and acts like a tyrannical dictator. Every mention of her brings that trademark sneer to his face. I'd always assumed it was work stress talking until I accidentally witnessed him pinning Scarlett against a wall. His voice thick with barely restrained desire as he growled. Nothing turns me on more than watching ruthless people beg. I live to hear you whimper. Ethan came home from work today with juicy gossip. That which Scarlett got slapped in front of the whole company by her husband's mistress. He announced, lighting a cigarette with visible satisfaction. My shocked reaction only made him smirk. Serves her right. Karma's a bitch. I sighed, used to his snarky remarks. She's still your superior. At least pretend to be professional. He snorted. You think anyone in that department actually respects her? Last year she fired Daniel when his kid was in the ICU, didn't even blink about destroying that family for better quarterly metrics. As Ethan stepped onto the balcony to take a call, I reflected on Scarlett. We'd crossed paths at company events, the quintessential ice queen with her razor-sharp bob and stilettos that could puncture concrete. Her reputation preceded her, first in the office at dawn, last to leave at night, running her team like a military drill sergeant. Survival of the fittest isn't a metaphor here. She'd famously declared during orientation. Ethan had joined Carter and Hayes International fresh out of MBA school. All bright-eyed ambition. 6 months under Scarlett's command turned him into another corporate drone. Working for that dictator sucks the soul out of you. He'd complain nightly over takeout. God knows what poor bastard married that harpy. Our relationship defies expectations. Childhood neighbors turned high school sweethearts. We've been inseparable since I nervously held his hand at the junior prom. Ethan's the ice prince, all sharp angles and sharper wit in public, yet melts into gentle whispers when we're alone. Meanwhile, I'm the anxious artist who traded boardroom panic attacks for freelance illustration work. Guess what I got you? Ethan's eyes glittered as he trapped me against the couch later. Our familiar dance of playful wrestling filling the living room. His birthday surprise tease made me laugh. We've played this game since he gifted me a pet rock in 3rd grade. Our easy intimacy masks deeper cracks. His late-night calls from the office smell suspiciously of Scarlett's vanilla amber perfume. The way his complaints about her lately carry a strange undercurrent of anticipation. And that damning scene I witnessed, his predatory grip on her wrist. Her defiant glare that didn't quite reach her eyes. But I'm the good wife, right? The fragile artist who needs protecting. So I laugh at his jokes about the office witch, ignoring how his pulse jumps when her name comes up. Pretend not to notice the lipstick smudge on his collar that matches Scarlett's signature crimson shade. After all, we're childhood sweethearts. That kind of bond can't break. Can it? In this situation, Ethan showed his support for me. Everyone has different personalities. Though Grace isn't skilled at socializing, she's incredibly creative and inspired. Rather than letting her waste her talents navigating relationships, it's better to let her work quietly on her own projects. Besides, even if she can't earn money, I'll take care of her. After marriage, our life settled into quiet routine. Ethan worked in marketing strategy, constantly juggling client communications and tedious desk work. When deadlines overwhelmed him, I'd occasionally help prepare presentation decks. Since my income was modest, I took secret pride in easing his workload this way. After my anxiety disorder improved significantly, we started trying for a baby. That weekend, we were leaving the hospital after our preconception checkup, laughing about something trivial, when Ethan suddenly froze. His face twisted into a sneer as he stared ahead. I followed his gaze. A woman was furiously berating a short-haired woman holding a paper bag. The latter stood motionless, eyes fixed on the ground as the crowd murmured around them. My breath caught. The silent recipient of this abuse was Scarlett. Get lost. Don't pretend to care now. If anything happens to my mom, it's your fault. I'll bankrupt myself making you pay. Scarlett pressed her lips together before looking up calmly. I never wanted this outcome for your mother. You're welcome to pursue legal action later. Today I just came to deliver these supplies as a gesture of goodwill." The enraged woman snatched the bag and hurled its contents at Scarlett. "Who needs your poisoned charity? No wonder your husband can't stand you. No wonder you'll die alone." Dried mushrooms and herbs showered over Scarlett's head as she stumbled backward, falling hard. She methodically smoothed her hair, rose with dignity, and began gathering the scattered items. "Who's that?" I whispered. "Why doesn't Scarlett fight back? She's always so." "The mistress," Ethan spat. "Or rather, the woman our ice queen wrongly accused. Apparently she stormed into the girl's workplace demanding she get fired after finding her husband's texts. Then she harassed the poor woman's mother at her job until the old lady collapsed from a heart attack. Now the mother's comatose in ICU, all because Scarlett couldn't bother verifying facts before playing judge." He gave a bitter laugh. "Turns out the husband had been harassing that woman for months after she rejected him. Karma's a bitch, isn't it?" I gasped. But Ethan stiffened mid-sentence. Scarlett had drifted closer, collecting sea cucumbers near our feet. My husband's jaw tightened as she approached. "Excuse me." Her voice sounded hoarse. Ethan glared until she gestured at his shoes. 2 clumps of bird's nest gleamed under his soles. He stepped back with exaggerated slowness. "Thank you." As she bent to retrieve them, her stiletto caught on uneven pavement. I instinctively caught her arm. "Ms. Hayes, did you twist your ankle? Let us help you upstairs." "No need." She extracted herself gently. "I'm fine. Thank you." The faint tremor in her hand contradicted her words as she walked away. Back rigid, high heels clicking unevenly against the hospital tiles. She stood up straight, took a deep breath, kicked off her high heels, and strode out barefoot with her head held high. When she turned, her eyes were red-rimmed. I glanced at Ethan. He stood with his lips pressed thin and hands in pockets, complexion slightly ashen. Both Ethan and I became consumed by work. A small gaming company expressed interest in several of my designs, inviting me to independently create character skins with promised profit-sharing post-launch. Though the upfront pay was minimal, the potential kept me hunched over drafting tablets day and night. Meanwhile, Ethan suddenly gained traction at Carter Enterprises, spearheading a high-priority collaboration with a major feminine care conglomerate. He radiated subdued exhilaration. "If I land this deal," he'd say while massaging his temples during midnight video calls, "promotion's guaranteed. Hell, we'll be industry royalty. You'll be sipping champagne from my shoe. Grace." His work hours stretched from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., sometimes bleeding into dawn. Alone in our apartment, I'd only glimpse him during bleary-eyed bedtime exchanges. Occasionally he'd mention office politics. "Scarlett's different now, no more shredding presentations during meetings. Just barks orders and storms out. Team actually breathes easier." That Friday, he returned unusually early to find me plating rosemary-crusted salmon. He picked at food vacantly until I prodded, "Something wrong? Women cry easily, right?" He jabbed peas with sudden intensity, like you used to sob over spreadsheet comments. I shrugged. "Depends. I'm sensitive. Others need real devastation." His fork clattered. "Today I told Scarlett everyone resents her." She cracked. "Turns out her husband left yesterday, took nothing. Not even their daughter. Said he'd rather starve than endure another year." I reached for his hand, but he recoiled. "Easy for you to moralize." He snapped. "Hold up here with your doodles while real adults," he caught my expression. "Christ. Grace, I'm sorry. The stress. Listen." My knuckles whitened around linen. "I freelance. Earn $4K monthly. Might not impress Carter executives. But..." Ethan's arms encircled me, apologies tumbling about promotions and pressure. I stiffened. "You knew who I was when we married. Criticize me like that again? Never. His stubble scraped my temple. Never again. He stopped mentioning Scarlett, perhaps fearing reminders of that fight. Oddly, her absence from his rants made evenings lighter. Then two incidents dragged me into her orbit. The first happened when I called Ethan's office at noon. A woman answered. "Who's this?" "Grace. His wife." Pause. "Scarlett. He's napping post-meeting. Should I wake him?" I said it wasn't necessary, Ethan would cover it. That evening, I asked Ethan what had happened. He shrugged casually, explaining he'd been in back-to-back video conferences with the client all day. I dozed off in the conference room during lunch. He said, "Just you and Scarlett? It's our joint project." Of course it was just the two of us. I couldn't hide my surprise. "You're getting along with Scarlett now?" He pressed his lips into a thin line, gaze dropping. "Getting along? Hardly. But you were right, no matter what. I shouldn't let it show. She's the lead on this. We need at least functional professionalism." The second incident also involved Scarlett. At 4 p.m. during a torrential downpour, Ethan called abruptly. "Grace, can you do me a huge favor?" I laughed. Since when do we ask favors? Another last-minute PowerPoint rescue? His voice tightened. "It's Scarlett. We've got a critical client call in an hour. And she's insisting on leaving to pick up her daughter from preschool. Says the nanny called out. And the kid's terrified of thunderstorms. Olivia. The preschool's near our complex. Could you?" Of course. I agreed without hesitation. I'd met Scarlett's daughter Olivia at the company holiday party, a quiet, wide-eyed girl who'd clung to me during games. Her skittish glances mirrored my own childhood self. Ethan's relief crackled through the phone. "You're a saint. You know that?" Before I could respond, Scarlett's polished voice cut in. "Grace. I can't thank you enough. Truly." The rain lashed sideways as I sprinted to the preschool. Umbrella useless. Olivia sat alone in the empty classroom, lower lip trembling. When I reached for her hand, she burst into tears, damp curls sticking to her flushed cheeks. That night, Ethan entered our apartment with Scarlett trailing behind. Their dynamic had shifted, no longer frosty, yet not quite cordial. He didn't offer her a seat or water, instead enveloping me in a performative hug. "My hero!" Scarlett's gratitude felt startlingly genuine as she left. "If you ever need anything at all, you've got my number." Ethan lingered on the couch, watching her exit with hooded eyes. Days later, Ethan mentioned a client site visit requiring travel. "How long?" I asked absently, squinting at CAD designs. 4 days. Back before your birthday, promise." His absence coincided with chaos. On his second day in Coastal City, Ethan called frantic. "Olivia spiked a fever. Can you check on her? Scarlett's new nanny's clueless." Scarlett's voice wavered when I answered. "Grace. I'm so sorry. The agency sent a college kid who panicked. My ex blocked my number. I was already grabbing keys. Text the address." Olivia lay sweltering under 3 blankets when I arrived. The trembling nanny backed away as I tore off the suffocating layers, rushing the burning child to urgent care. We didn't leave until midnight, Olivia's fever finally breaking in my arms. When I was leaving, the nanny mentioned that the Hayes family had installed cameras in every room, worried she might sleep through the night. She pleaded with me to monitor the baby through the app. Scarlett later sent multiple grateful messages on WhatsApp. The next morning, I woke with a pounding headache. My low-grade fever confirmed I was sick. While resting in bed, Ethan called, excitement crackling through the phone. "The client meeting went perfectly. I need you to compile these video files into a presentation for the board ASAP. Grace. I know this is last minute, but I'll make it up to you. After this project wraps up, We'll visit Japan to see your favorite anime exhibits. I forced a laugh. Just promise you'll be back for my birthday tomorrow. Wouldn't miss it. Over the next 2 days, I immersed myself in conference recordings and financial reports. Though my fever persisted, I worked meticulously, partly because this promotion meant everything to Ethan, partly to prove I could excel at corporate work despite my parents' claims that I'd amount to nothing. On the 4th evening, I called the nanny while massaging my temples. Olivia's back at school, she said. MS. Hayes returned this afternoon to pick her up. The room tilted. Scarlett's home? Before realizing, I'd opened the security app. The high-definition feed showed Ethan pinning Scarlett against their bedroom wall. His designer belt, last year's birthday gift from me, swinging rhythmically as their bodies moved. Beads of sweat glistened on his forehead, her pupils dilated with pleasure. I love watching you beg. Ethan growled, voice thick with desire. My phone buzzed. Miss me already? His tone dripped honeyed affection. I clawed at my throat, barely croaking out. Can't find domestic violence case studies. Just use romantic couple clips. He chuckled. No one reads those slides anyway. The belt buckle kept clinking against the wall. Click. 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 In the dim light, the belt lay limp and exhausted, dangling haphazardly off the bed. After a long silence, I finally spoke. Is this really okay? Of course it's okay. Ethan's cheerful laughter crackled through the phone. My headache intensified as I dragged myself to the bed, collapsing face first into the sheets. I dreamed of childhood. Adults sat comparing children in the courtyard. My parents harmonized their humiliation. Look at the other kids. Top grades. Outgoing personalities, you're just useless deadweight. What'll become of you? They excelled at public shaming, believing humiliation bred discipline. Under the weight of smirking stares, my face burned as words died in my throat. Mr. and Mrs. Foster. 12-year-old Ethan interjected sharply. Grace is brilliant. Her homework's always perfect. All the teachers say so. The adults chuckled at the boy playing knight. Ethan nodded solemnly. I'll always protect her. Dawn found me staring at lead gray skies. I picked up my phone. The camera app opened to Ethan and Scarlett's voices mid-conversation. Sitting shirtless on rumpled sheets sharing cigarettes, the aftermath of one intimacy bleeding into another. That time you stripped your blazer in the board meeting, calculated move. Wasn't it? Scarlett tilted her head. Since everyone claimed I lacked femininity. Your verdict? Ethan exhaled smoke. All woman. After a beat, Scarlett continued. When I picked up Olivia last month, you leaned over to buckle my seatbelt. Got hard. Didn't you? Obvious. She smirked. My turn. At the Harbor City mixer, why pull away mid-kiss in that hotel corridor? Ethan froze. Scarlett sighed. We're both women. Didn't want to hurt your wife. Silence. Suddenly Ethan stubbed out his cigarette. Scrambling for pants. Scarlett's voice pursued him. Then I thought, screw it. 3 decades of life max. Why hesitate? Her fingers combed through pixie-cut hair. One last wild day. After tonight, colleagues. Superior and subordinate. I'm yours. Anything goes. Just today. Ethan's call came as I watched starlings swarm beyond the window. Grace. His voice thickened with guilt. The client CEO is threatening to cancel unless we stay. I'll make it up tomorrow, birthday dinner. Spa day. Whatever I was running a fever. I interrupted him. Are you feeling that bad? He asked with concern. I stared out the window. My voice flat. So Ethan, you still can't come home. Can you? He fell silent, seeming hesitant. After a few quiet seconds, he suddenly spoke in a breathless voice. I'm sorry, Grace. I really can't make it back today. I sat on the bed all day. They went at it 5 times from morning till night. The most intense moments? Once when they hid in the kitchen to avoid Olivia, Scarlett only showing her front. The other time? When Ethan called me with that guilt-ridden voice. Ethan came home clutching a massive bouquet. The moment he saw me, he dropped his luggage and flowers to rush over. Honey, I missed you so much. I stared fixedly at his face, the familiar Ethan. The longing in his eyes seemed genuine. For a moment, I felt disoriented. Then who was that man in the surveillance footage? You look exhausted. Staying up late working on the presentation? He cradled my face, studying me intently, his thumb stroking my cheek. Flashbacks of those fingers in other contexts made me jerk away. I dry heaved into the trash can before bolting to wash my face. I thought your fever broke. This is my fault. I should have found a way back yesterday. Ethan followed me into the bathroom, face etched with remorse. I pushed him away weakly. It's gone already. He blinked, then opened his luggage to retrieve an ornate box. Happy birthday, honey. Even if it's a day late. When I didn't move, he eagerly flipped the lid open, glancing at the crystal necklace inside. I asked tonelessly, "This is your big birthday surprise?" His eyes darted briefly before he smiled. Took me forever to pick. Do you like it? Meeting his gaze, I said, "You gave me this exact brand's necklace 2 years ago. Forgot?" He froze. Not a last-minute purchase. Was it? I chuckled humorlessly. After 2 beats of silence, his expression darkened. Grace, how could you think that? I genuinely spent ages selecting this. If you're upset about me missing your birthday for work, I get it. But even between spouses, you shouldn't casually trample on someone's heartfelt efforts. Conflict terrifies me. As a child, I dodged parental and schoolyard fights. As an adult, I avoid clashes with Ethan or coworkers. The mere prelude to arguments makes me flush, tremble, lose speech reactions. Ethan knows better than anyone. Previously, I'd already be apologizing profusely during such standoffs, desperate to defuse tension regardless of fault. Now, Ethan stood there wearing disappointment like armor, awaiting my usual self-flagellation. This time, I simply looked at him calmly before walking to the study. "Grace," Ethan called out, his voice tinged with surprise. I was finalizing my PowerPoint on the bed when Ethan walked in with furrowed brows. His expression softened upon seeing my laptop screen, settling beside me. "My bad. I promised to celebrate your birthday but messed up. You've every right to be upset. I know you left your family for me. Sacrificed so much to stay in this unfamiliar city." I cut him off calmly. "You misunderstood. I didn't leave my parents for you." Sure. He chuckled, eyes crinkling. "Grace, you've always been tender-hearted. Let's not stay mad this time, okay?" I lowered my gaze. "Ethan, remember what the psychiatrist said about my social anxiety disorder?" He grinned. "That fear of social judgment causes your physical reactions. You're mostly recovered now. Guess quitting your job was the right call." I nodded. My anxiety stems from childhood humiliation and my parents. Leaving them was my only escape. Even if they keep calling me ungrateful. "Why bring this up now?" he asked, tilting his head. "Ethan, I might seem fragile and timid, but deep down, I sighed. I'm not soft-hearted." He raised an eyebrow. "So? How long's this cold shoulder lasting?" After 2 beats of silence, I said, "It took years to heal from family-induced anxiety. I won't walk into new distress." Ethan left looking amused. I sat motionless before reaching for my phone. Scarlett's Instagram photo glared back, limited edition Japanese artist collab figurines I'd desperately tracked for months. Caption frowny face free rare collectibles from someone. Not my thing. At 7 a.m. Ethan in his tailored suit had kissed my cheek before leaving. What's different in this PPT draft? Format tweaks. Thanks. Babe. He'd leaned in for a kiss I dodged. Big presentation today, investors and competitors attending. This project'll make my career. Post his departure. I wheeled a suitcase out. 3 hours later. Dolly's serene guest house welcomed me. The hostess chatted about local sites while my phone vibrated incessantly. You should answer. No need. I smiled faintly, powering it off. Many solo travelers here. She said kindly. Be yourself, no pressure. Thank you. For 15 days. I breathed. Freelancing meant freedom, disconnecting completely. Sketching by a rye lake where clouds mirrored my watercolor figures. At the airport. I switched on my phone. 99 plus messages from Ethan vanished with a delete tap. Scrolling through my feed. I noticed Scarlett had spammed multiple identical posts. Official statement: the viral video allegedly involving me is AI generated. Do not believe or share it, or you may face legal consequences. I tracked down the video. Though swiftly contained, it was still findable if you dug deep enough. The clip opened on a packed corporate boardroom. Ethan and Scarlett stood polished in tailored suits, radiating confidence as they tag-teamed their presentation. After cracking a well-rehearsed joke, Ethan clicked a video link in their PowerPoint. Initial corporate graphics abruptly cut to a security camera angle of a living room. 2 pixelated figures writhed on a couch, their blurred faces and censored bodies hovering above 2 employee badges bearing the same logo displayed in the conference room. A woman's breathy moans ruptured the stunned silence. Who's better, me or your wife? You. You. Definitely you. The voices matched Ethan and Scarlett's perfectly. Scarlett turned statue pale. Ethan fumbled desperately with the clicker, freezing the frame on their most identifiable facial contours. A damning freeze frame finale. Cigarette smoke assaulted me when I opened our apartment door. Blackout curtains plunged the trashed living room into gloom. The carpet littered with cigarette butts like ashen confetti. You're back. Ethan materialized in the bedroom doorway. I'd braced for this during my weeks in Dolly. Adults can't outrun problems forever. I expected rage, accusations, venom. Instead, he stood silently until his gravelly voice cut through the dimness. These past weeks, I kept rewriting what to say when you returned. The only script left is total honesty. Grace. You know how much I despised Scarlett. But after her husband's scandal, something shifted. Seeing her constantly tearful, vulnerable only around me, I enjoyed it. When she started sending signals, I caved. You'll never understand how men compartmentalize this. It wasn't about love. Just stress relief and revenge for how she belittled me. You must think I'm pathetic. His skeletal hand trembled. I am pathetic. But I swear I never meant to hurt you. Since we were kids. You're the only one. Seeing you anxious, burned, criticized, it guts me. I'd take all your pain if I could. Your move, it wrecked me. At first I raged at your ruthlessness. But waiting here alone, the anger burned out. Just missing you. Realizing I'm nothing without you. We're like that couple from Golden Marriage, decades together, mean weathering storms. Even straying. But what matters is choosing each other. Always. He extended his shaking hand. Wedding band glinting. We love each other. That's undeniable. Let's call it even. Grace. I studied his protruding knuckles. The weight loss etching new shadows. From my bag, I produced the stapled pages. Ethan. These are divorce papers. Review them when you can. I'll wait for your response. His ashen face blurred as I turned away. I turned and walked out of that house. I don't know how other women would handle a situation like mine. Some might rage, venting their fury first. Others might stay composed, quietly gathering evidence and securing assets. But my priority was to protect my peace, no spiraling. No second-guessing. No anxiety. At the peak of my physical symptoms, my therapist told me anxiety disorders often stem from perfectionism. What Ethan doesn't understand is this: once he tarnished us, there was no path back. I can't even tolerate my own flaws. How could I accept his? The moment I saw that hidden camera, I glimpsed our inevitable end. But I refused to silently swallow betrayal's poison. I had to save myself, or spend decades drowning in trauma's undertow. Suppressing our natural anger to avoid conflict only redirects that pain inward. Another anxiety hurricane waiting to form. No. I wouldn't weather that storm again. I rented a cheap, quiet place in the suburbs. Ignored Ethan's calls. Scanned his texts, only replied to divorce-related ones. Why waste energy on foregone conclusions? I buried myself in design work until Scarlett showed up at my peeling apartment door. Her crisp power suit looked absurd against the crumbling hallway. Both she and Ethan were suspended after that blurred security badge appeared in the viral video. No names spoken. Everyone knew. Her Instagram rants revealed desperation. Quiet dogs bite hardest. She said coolly. Underestimated you. I met her gaze. Normal people feel gratitude toward those who help them. Guess I underestimated you too. Her mouth twisted. Ethan said you were timid. Clearly he's clueless. Pity you don't know him either. When I stayed silent, she scoffed. Men crave power more than women. Our social tiers guarantee he'd fold for my slightest attention. That's human nature. But Grace, her tone turned mockingly gentle. I don't want your husband. Just some adult fun. As a woman advising another, stop overvaluing relationships. Careers outlast fleeting passions. Her condescension finally made me understand Ethan's past complaints. The smugness curdled the air. Are you really that confident? I asked. What? Your ex-husband chose poverty and disinheriting his child over staying. Still think men are yours for the taking? Her composure cracked before hardening into ice. Grace, do you realize I could have you arrested for illegal surveillance? That footage is. I laughed, clean and bright, cutting through her threat. Then you must admit, that was indeed a real incident from your family? Her face stiffened. I reminded her gently. The mosaic in that video couldn't conceal everything anymore. This isn't just industry gossip now. Is it? She stared at me, eyes flickering, before suddenly saying, you and Ethan grew up together. First love and childhood sweethearts. I never imagined you'd be this ruthless toward him, leaving no shred of dignity. I sighed. Childhood sweethearts can still betray each other. Isn't that right, Ethan? Turning, I found Ethan standing silently behind us. His expression hauntingly solemn in a way I'd never seen before. Ethan agreed to the divorce terms. With little shared assets. The division was simple. I kept the mortgaged house while he retained the car under his name. The company's sending me out of town immediately, he said over the phone. The papers are signed. Come get them. Not wanting delays. I went. The receptionist led me to a conference room where an entire group awaited, including Scarlett. Her face etched with indignation. I froze. Feet cementing to the floor as they had during countless childhood humiliations. Ethan approached. Eyes bloodshot. Grace. I'm glad you came. Addressing the room. His voice thickened. The video incident damaged our company's reputation. On behalf of my wife, I apologize for her impulsive actions. He held up medical records. As you've seen, Grace has battled severe anxiety for years. Confined by delusions. She spliced Scarlett's home security footage with online clips using AI tools, embedding them into my presentation without my knowledge. His gaze returned to me, brimming with staged sincerity. Darling, just being here takes courage. Admit your mistake silently, I'll shoulder everything with you. Scarlett sighed. Grace. You've walked Olivia home before. I know you're kind at heart. No one chooses illness. Let's consider this resolved. I stood motionless, voiceless. During my darkest anxiety episodes, Ethan had accompanied me to countless therapy sessions. My psychologist traced the trigger to childhood, public shaming by parents that petrified me under stairs. My last job ended when I froze mid-presentation. Throat sealed. Now the man who'd tenderly guided me through panic attacks weaponized my vulnerability. Our locked eyes burned, his blazing with manufactured grief. Mine ice cold. His grip seared my hand like branding iron. Executives began murmuring about containing fallout. Since Scarlett and Ethan were wronged, his termination would be revoked. Clients would receive clarifications. The real performance concluded. I suddenly pulled my hand free from Ethan's grip. His pupils dilated slowly as I calmly stated in his shocked gaze. Sorry. But isn't it my turn to speak now? What I realized in Dolly is this: the world doesn't contain others. Only ourselves. The guests came in all shapes and personalities, tall, short, extroverted, introverted. Yet they carried themselves with such ease. Not because of inherent nature, but because they'd escaped their usual environments and familiar systems of judgment. So it's not people who are hell, it's their judgments. That's when my chains shattered. My voice trembled but carried crystal clarity as I declared that day: adultery violates social ethics and tramples spousal dignity. I chose public exposure without regret. The blurred video aimed to minimize social harm. If sued, I'll accept legal responsibility while submitting unedited footage to court to prove victimhood. The boardroom fell deathly quiet. These experts in strategic maneuvering understood perfectly the scandal currently contained could become wildfire if litigated. While I struggled through my speech, Ethan kept his head bowed, unable to meet my eyes. No one knew better than him what this cost me. The silence shattered when Ethan suddenly roared. He lunged at Scarlett, grabbing her collar like combatants. This is all your fault. Your stupid fix. Getting fired would have been better. Now Grace will never forgive me. You ruined everything. You goddamn disaster. Scarlett bit her lips silently, maintaining her trademark composure. Ethan suddenly slapped himself. Again. I'm the real idiot. Got tangled with someone others wouldn't touch. Biggest fool alive. He never looked up again before I left. Both Ethan and Scarlett got terminated. Their careers in this industry over. The company opted for containment, letting me walk away clean. At the divorce office month later, Ethan murmured, I thought, secure my career first. Then make it up to you. Believed your fragile nature would keep you waiting. Proud you conquered yourself. Grace. Though maybe, it doesn't matter now. He mentioned leaving town. Maybe trying coastal city first. Worried about marketable skills. My number, it'll stay the same. I smiled and walked away. A year later, my video game skin designs for the studio partnership grossed over $6 million in royalties. Still climbing. With enough financial stability to support myself. I embarked on a nomadic lifestyle, working remotely while exploring the world. During this period, I returned to my former city to handle property matters. One evening while strolling through the town square, I unexpectedly encountered Scarlett. She wore a large apron while manning a bustling food truck. Her movements efficient as she served customers under the curious glow of streetlights, though the oversized sunglasses she wore at night raised eyebrows. Nearby whispers carried fragments of gossip. Why's the food truck lady wearing shades? Heard she caused someone's mom to die. The daughter brought thugs to beat her up. But she tripped and got blinded by broken beer glass. I approached. Scarlett paused momentarily before resuming her work. What? Here to rub my face in it? She said flatly, brushing barbecue sauce onto sizzling skewers. Saw your TV interview. I tilted my head. Maybe a little. Her spatula scraped against the grill. Still make decent money. Won't starve. A customer called their order, and she turned away with practiced efficiency. I left without another word. 2 nights later while packing, my mother called. "Where are you now?" she asked. "Preparing for Kashgar," I replied, folding a sweater into my suitcase. She sighed heavily. "Never imagined you and Ethan would switch places like this." He barely lasted a year in Coastal City before crawling back home. His father's latest job offer fell through again. That boy used to shine so bright, now he's just empty. Came by yesterday asking about you. Didn't tell him a thing. Surrounded by half-packed belongings. I listened to her familiar lamentations. These past years of wandering had shown me countless lives and perspectives. Slowly, I'd made peace with my flaws and my parents' limitations. I still sent money. I still called. Sometimes their criticism still came nowadays, not about careers or salaries, but about domestic stability and grandchildren. Their words lapped against my consciousness like breezes skimming a still lake, leaving no ripples. Life isn't some revenge fantasy. Public speaking still knots my stomach. Eloquence escapes me when cameras roll. So what? Everyone carries private shadows and brightness. What you see is what I am: flawed, whole, self-contained. No validation required.